What is up, guys? I'm Xavier, and today we're going to be showing you how to play 7 equals heaven with a standard card deck. Okay, now if you guys don't know, I'm a game designer, so I like to make a lot of games. And here's been one of my latest successions that I thought to share with you guys. So you're going to get your standard deck and take some time to shuffle it real quick. Unfortunately, this game is only 2 players, but if there is 2 of you, then you can play this game. So what you're going to do to start is give each player 3 cards face down, and you will be able to look at your cards. So this would be my hand, and the opponent can look at those cards, but not my cards. One important thing to note is that you aren't allowed to look at the opponent's cards, but it is mandatory. If they ask, you must tell them how many cards you have. And always try to make that obvious like this. Don't be doing like this. In this game, there is 3 piles for gameplay. So for education purposes, I'm going to lay these 3 down just to show the 3 piles. These don't do anything. I just like to lay them down so that you know that there's 3 piles. So the player that isn't the dealer goes first, or however you want, doesn't really matter. And say I'm going first. I want to make the enemy have 7 cards in their hand. That is the objective. If they get 7, they lose. You can't go over 7, by the way. So let me explain to you the piles. The first one closest to the drawing deck. If I were to play any number here, the opponent has to draw. If I play a 3, the opponent draws 3, and they would have 6 cards, so they wouldn't be out yet. Ace equals 1. So if I were to play a 3, and then they draw 3, and then an ace, they would be out because that's 7 cards. If I were to play a 4 here, they would also be out. That is what that pile does. This pile is for kings, queens, and jacks. So they do special things. We'll get to that in a second. But basically, you play them there. This is the discard pile. Anything you don't want, you put there. So, like, I would put that there if I don't want it. So, very important rule. The enemy, no one can get out on the first turn. So, after I go, I can't. So, during my turn, I can't get them out. And during their first turn, they can't get me out. Second turn, it's fair game. You can get them out if you want. So, on your turn, you are allowed to draw 1 card and play as many as you want. Don't forget to let the opponent know when it's their turn. So I could literally discard all these and say your turn. You can play as many cards as you want. You can play 1 here, 2 here, 1 here. Well, you don't have to play anything at all. You don't even have to draw if you don't want to. So yeah. Then it would be the opponent's turn. Let's see their cards. Okay. Say it's the second turn so they can get me out. They would play a 3, and I have 4 cards. I would lose because I would draw 3, which 4 plus 3 equals 7. There are ways to stop this, though. If you have another 3, which I fortunately do, you could play it on that and it stops it. They don't draw 3. It just cancels it. So if they were to now play a 4 and I play a 4, it cancels it. They don't draw 4. No one draws 4, basically. The other way is with the king. Now let's get into that. Let me find a queen first. The jack, queen, and king allow you to do special things. The jack, if I were to play this, the opponent would discard their highest card. So let's just see what it is real quick. A 9. They would discard the 9 into the discard pile. If I were to play the queen, you draw an extra card. Queen lets you draw an extra card. So if I draw a card for my turn and play the queen, I drew another card. So I draw 2 cards, basically. Draw a card for my turn, plus the one from the queen. And yeah. So yeah. Alright, the king saves you. Okay. So for example, say I have 4 cards and the enemy plays a 3. I don't have a 3 to block, but I have a king. I can play the king and save myself. I am still alive and still in the game. If they have a 4, I'm absolutely fried. So, yeah, because I don't have a 4 or another king. That is what these special cards do. Remember, ace is not special. It's just 1. Another important rule I forgot to mention is that you can do... Give me a second. If they play a 5 on you and you only have 2 cards, you can stop it with a 5, right? But if they play like a 6 and you use your king to save yourself, they can't king the king to stop it. You can't do the block, which is what it's called in this game. You can't block it with a face card. Face cards can't block. Normal cards can block. So a 5 on a 5 is good. A 2 on a 2 is good. You can't put a queen on a queen or a jack on the jack to cancel. It just doesn't work, okay? That's not how it works. And yeah, jack makes you lose your highest card. If you use the king, yeah, you lose that. If you play you can't do that. So if I play a jack, you can't play a jack and stop it. You're losing your highest card. I mean, if it's a jack, then I guess you lose the jack. That is another important rule I forgot to mention. Let's talk about winning the game. So, as you see, I have 3 cards. If the opponent were to play a 5, 5 plus 3 is 8, I do not draw. You have to have exactly the number. You could play a 3 and a ace. You could play a 2 and a 3. You could play a 4. But anything that would make me draw over does not work. I would not draw. If I have 1 card and they play 8, I do not draw. So, yeah, basically 8s, 9s, and 10s can't go in this pile, basically, is what I'm saying. Because you can put 7 here if the opponent has no cards and you put a 7. And they have nothing to stop that, they would lose. But, yes, I cannot go over 7. No one can go over 7. You have to have exactly. Another important rule is if I have no cards, the opponent needs to play a 7 or add up to 7 somehow with like a 3 and a 4 and a 2, 2, 2, and an ace if they have that. So if the opponent has this, okay, yeah, they can play 7 and make me lose. You can't do this. You have to play 1 at a time. So for example, okay, if they play the 3, they can't play a 4 immediately right after. I must draw my 3, 1, 2, 3, and then they can play the 4. But since I drew, I just got a 4. So I could stop that and I'm still in the game. They can't do a 3 and a 4. That is not how it works. One more thing is if they were to play a 4, and I have this. They play a 4, and I'm in the middle of drawing 1, 2. I get a 4. You can't play it. You have to take all 4 cards before you can play it, and you lose because you have 7. So if you draw a 4 like mid-draw, you cannot stop it. You have to have the 4 before they play the card. One more thing I thought I'd show you. The jack is a useful tool. This is just a tip. It's not really, it's just a tip. The jack is a useful tool to combo with your other cards. So if I have 3 cards, 5 does not work. But if it's this guy's turn, like player 2, and they play a jack, and I have to lose my highest card, that would be my queen. Now I have 2 cards, and they can play a 5 right after, and I don't have anything to stop it. So jack can combo, and jack guarantees a kill if you have a 7 and the opponent has 1 card. I mean, if they have 0, you can still play the jack. They're not going to lose anything. But if you have 1 card, even if it's a king, let me see if I can find a king really fast. Yeah, here it is. Even if I have a king, they play a jack, I discard my king because I lose it. Then they could play a 7, and yeah, I have nothing, like no cards to stop the 7, meaning I lose. If someone ever plays a 7 here and it works, they lose. Because if I have just 1 card, 7 wouldn't work and they would have to place it in the discard pile. So I would lose if they play 7 and I have no cards because, 7 heaven. If you get 7 cards, you lose. Okay, we're going to play a game with my little brother just to show you guys. Okay, get your cards. You go first. Remember, guys, you can't be eliminated on the first turn. I have 6 cards. Okay, still your turn.
Yeah, I'm gonna draw an end turn.
I have to discard something if I want to draw, so I don't end up getting 7 cards. Your turn. It is the second turn now, so we can be eliminated.
That's all I'm gonna do.
Okay. I'm going to discard a 5. I now have 5 cards. Going to draw my card for the turn. Now I have 6 cards. I'm going to use a queen to draw an extra card. I still have 6 cards. How many cards do you have?
I have 4.
I'm going to use another queen
Oh my
to
goodness.
draw an extra card. I'm going to use another queen
Oh my
to
goodness.
draw an extra card. And unfortunately, wait, how many did you have?
4.
Unfortunately, oh wait, right here.
I place a king.
Dang it. Okay, so now you have 3 cards. Now you have 2 cards? Now you have 1 card?
Oh my goodness. I lost.
Yes!
Oh my goodness. What
Yup.
the heck was that hand?
I had the 3, 4, 5, and 6 combo. I'm too good.
Guess so. Only for now though.